Mind Walk. Thanks for joining us on the Mind Walk podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Sean, and this is Barney the Wonder Dog. Barney the Wonder Dog.
We're going to go for a walk and talk about some things, and we'd love for you to join us.
So subscribe to the Mind Walk podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube, or where you find all of your pod stuff. Follow us on social media at Mind Walk Pod.
Now, everyone is going to get one free Mind Walk a week, but because you want more Mind Walk, support us on Patreon. For $1.99 a month, you get absolutely nothing, but you get the satisfaction of supporting us. For $5, you can become a trail angel and get 3 Mind Walks on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for $10 a month, you can get 5 Mind Walks a week. That's 7.5 hours of content Monday through Friday. Now, let's get into the Mind Walk! So what if I told you that we were going to fail to summit Wildwood today?
I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with summiting it.
No, I'm not just that we'd failed. 100% chance of no success. It's not happening.
That suggests a different route. I'd suggest one with more shade.
All right, what if I said it's definitely going to happen? We're definitely going to make it for sure, 100%.
I mean, this is the key to the secret, right? Which is act as if it is impossible to fail. You know, this is how people get all the goodies.
I don't know. I was trying reverse psychology on you.
Oh, I
didn't know if I said if it was impossible to fail, then you would feel trapped by the necessity of the whole thing and want to buck against that constraint. And so if I was like, well, we'll definitely fail, then it's like, well, fuck you. What do you mean we're definitely going to fail? I'm not going to be locked into that kind of constraint.
I mean, the only reason I'm not that way anymore is because I would end up punching myself in the face a lot, despite other people, or to spite them, you know. And I'm just can't do that. It's just not a healthy place for me. Also, the other healthy place for me is it's okay to fail. It's okay to be in a spot of putting good effort. It's also being careful at what you're failing at. Don't set yourself up for failure, you know, because I think that's a big, my surfing story, when I got that anxiety, my friend said, that's not a fear you have to overcome. That's just a thing out there.
It's surfing?
Yeah.
Yeah, surfing isn't a necessary hobby.
Ooh.
I mean, I'd like to be good at surfing, but apparently I'm willing to put more time into walking.
Well, and until we can figure out some good mics for the water.
Man, your calves are looking extra strong today.
Yeah! I don't have such meaty calves that I can't wear skinny jeans, but almost.
I can't stand skinny jeans on my body.
Yeah? I mean, it's skinny
I want
for
more room.
It's skinny for me.
I mean, I love them on women, so, you know, if it makes them comfortable, or some of them comfortable.
I mean, I like it just...
If it makes you comfortable.
Yeah. It's just like a good... like kind of form-fitting.
Well, yeah, that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a part of me that likes the idea of wearing form-fitting clothing because it reduces your, not just your footprint, it reduces your body print.
Yeah.
All right, we've left the shade portion.
Yep. Inside now, it is all sun.
So I see your hat. I see your straw hat.
Yeah. It's got a bigger shade print than my Virgin of Guadalupe.
Well, look, we can see our destination.
Yeah.
I must have been taking getting to your place at 8:30 today very seriously because
Yeah.
I had some dreams about being late.
Oh, nice.
Well, I guess the dreams weren't about me being late so much as they were dreams about me not being able to find my car. I was with another friend, my astrophysicist friend, or
Oh, shit.
and it was like he was going to come on the walk as well. And then you also had another person you were bringing. And somehow I was trying to get him back to the car and we couldn't find the car. And we were like, what parking level is it on? You know, the dystopia of the car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking like, damn it. I'm not going to make it by 8:30. Everything's getting fucked up. And then in my dream, I told myself, hold on. You're trying to like add on these other people into the hike at the last minute. You know, you don't owe them this hike. You didn't promise them. You didn't book them.
Barney. Barney. Oh, gotcha. Hey. Stop it. Come on, let's go, bud. I know, let's go.
So I think I told him in the dream, I'm like, you know what, I don't think it's going to work out. Just wanted to trim the unnecessary complications.
Nice. I had a little bit of anxiety dreams too. But ultimately, I mean, I got enough sleep. But your car, what phrase did you use?
Car anxiety?
Car anxiety. So, you mentioned Pentti Linkola on the way here. He's a Finnish eco-fascist philosopher who for a little while I was like, he's like the be-all, end-all. You know, he had these amazing ideas, but I've definitely softened a lot on him. But he lives his philosophy. He's mostly a fisherman, and he makes a few extra bucks by writing philosophy. And his philosophical take is that there is simply too many human beings, which for a little while I kind of agreed with him until, Penn Jillette had they did an episode of bullshit about Norman Borlaug, and they presented the idea that, well, with more people, we have more possibilities of being able to, find the answers that are going to solve our problems. I was like, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense.
Well, and then, if our people are empowered.
Sure. But also then,
and
you know,
not killing each other for resources.
But also,
I mean, it's a bit of a... It's definitely a downward spiral.
oh yeah, but maybe in maybe one of the more populated places on Earth, like Mumbai or something, a genius arises.
I mean, it'd be nice. I don't think the idea of having lots of babies with the hopes that one of them will be the savior, I don't think that's a particularly
no, but he was using that as
solving the problem.
He was saying that is one reason why not to. But I found, and this is a thing that was an uncomfortable realization I came to, or was memeified into my brain, is that population control is kind of a eco-fascist and white supremacist talking point or agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does depend on how you go about it, but ultimately that they are very hard to separate from one another.
Yeah.
And but you say eco-fascist, how is that different from what is an eco-fascist? I mean, I'm familiar with eco-terrorism.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close.
Is eco-fascism more like we need to rigidly control the population to solve our ecological problems?
Yep.
And bring down the boot on anyone who doesn't comply?
Yep. And, it's becomes a way of like, well, this is the decision we've made, so you've got to comply with it.
Well, I mean, isn't that just kind of like government 101, gangs 101?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Family 101?
Oh, sure. Sure. And it's just like, figuring out where the line between, response and fascism, or a powerful agenda and fascistic response. I think that's the biggest thing we have to be aware of. But here's one of the things that he used to talk about. Okay, one of the quotes is like, the earth is a lifeboat, and if you pull more people out of the ocean onto the lifeboat, it'll capsize, right? And then he says, those who love life will chop the hands from the bulwark. And it's a very powerful image. But
always with the good intentions.
Yeah. But the one thing I still agree with him on is that we should plow up all the roads. That was one of his.
He had an image just the other day in my mind of just grabbing some sledgehammers and just going down the pavement and just breaking it up. Just break it up. Break it all up. Make America dirt again.
Yeah. When you're... Good idea.
All right, I'm going to take 10 seconds here.
Yeah, I'm going to sit on this little ledge. When the asphalt company is owned by one of the people in charge, he's going to want to put asphalt on everything. So we got to...
I mean, the only reason there's not asphalt on this path we're on right now is because they haven't figured out a way to make that profitable yet.
Or yes, there's that. And also, they have said specifically, this is not an asphalt space. They're like, designated non-asphalt space. We're going to get the asphalt right up to the edge of where we can put...
If we don't make it to the top, it's because my ass is at fault.
See, not all puns are terrible.
Oh, it was just as bad.
It was terrible, but it was... had to be said. Had to. What's up, bud? How's it going? So have you been to the summit already?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh yeah. He's a adventure dog.
Thank you.
Some kind of coyote poop right there.
So, let's compare ourselves to the preparedness of that gentleman.
Oh yeah.
3 bottles of water,
Yeah.
hiking sticks. We're clearly roughing it compared to him.
Oh yeah. And full shade. Full neck shade.
Nasty thing about those dreams where I'm worried about being late is I fucking wake up during them
Yeah.
to check the time,
Yeah.
and then I'm losing sleep. I mean, it got me to your place 15 minutes early, but it's like, damn, can I chill the fuck out a little bit? Apparently not.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're both in blue today.
Yeah, I didn't even want a Bob Ross print on my shirt.
Yeah, anything
Like,
to get in the
just-
way.
The clothing. And my chonies are blue.
Nice.
These chonies are one of the last... No, not one of the last Amazon purchases I made, but one that sticks out in my mind anyway.
Oh, gotcha.
I decided that for all the choices I make in a day, the choice of what my boxers look like does not need to be one I spend any mental energy on whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I just bought like a 12 or a 16 pack of just like all cotton, these sort of medical, I feel like scrubs blue
Yeah.
boxers. And they served me well. I feel like for sex, I'll buy 1 or 2 pairs of if I know I'm getting laid that night, nicer boxers or just interesting boxers, so it's not just the same every time.
Yeah.
But have those kind of like putting on a tie for work or something. But otherwise, I don't want to think about it.
Special undies for sexy times. Yeah.
Well, how's this for some insider walking? So I was doing my act at the conventions,
Oh, yeah.
and I'd be wearing boxers, but I'd also be wearing these swim shorts I had,
Oh, yeah.
and using the pockets and stuff. But I started getting a rash on my thighs and above, right around my waist in the front.
Really?
I think I had a fungal thing. It didn't get out of hand, but it did get very itchy and unpleasant. And so I decided to switch to cotton for that reason. I didn't want to deal with the nylon or the plastics or the other stuff.
This kind of makes sense on to me it's more of a texture issue, which the texture when I'm when I'm going through the day. The texture is great to have cotton against my skin. But then if I was hiking here and feeling it stick to my flesh. You want some water, bud? Here. Barney. What? Barney.
Come this way, Barney.
That's enough.
This might be the way to go. Give it to him early before he starts the heavy breathing.
Here.
He just doesn't like that Nalgene, huh?
Well, when he's thirsty enough.
Yeah.
You know. When he's thirsty enough.
I still want to try
Yeah.
another cup or something. Try and find a vessel then.
Okay.
Like, remember when we were at the Dominator, right?
Uh-huh.
And I poured the water onto that little concave thing in
Yeah.
the rock. He just couldn't get enough of it.
I was always probably pretty thirsty.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
but yeah.
I'm imagining he's probably thirsty now too. But I just wonder if it's like he seems to prefer drinking out of a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
And unfortunately around here, there doesn't seem to be any places I could really pour it into.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, if I had 3 times as much water on me, I would just pour it into the dirt until it became a drinkable pool. But I don't have enough on me to
I also
to do
think
that.
when I see there's like dog-specific kind of bottles. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the plastic is made of, but they basically, it's like a cup that's attached to it, and you just squeeze it out into the cup. And I still think it's a training thing. I still think he just has to be in the spot of just like, I want water, and then because he'll eventually get used to it. But he did smell it, so he knew it was water. So it's like he's making his own choice right now. So we basically made it to the top of the first peak.
Yep.
So we just have, it seems like to me, we just have like 1.5 more of those.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We've now done this path enough times we start to get a feel for it. Mm-hmm. Now we got it downhill. We got that flat section there.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I can see where we stopped last time. Just because wherever there's a curve at the path up towards the top and there's like some trees around there. I feel like there's a group of trees off on the left side.
Oh, you think we were over there?
No, we were higher up than that. I'm talking about...
We were over there.
So next to the red and white tower on the left, there's like a smaller tower.
Yeah, straight down from that.
If you go straight down from there, there's like a part where the hill clearly is like curving out to the left and then back into the center.
Yeah.
I feel like we stopped somewhere around there because we couldn't see around that curve.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But as you can see, it's getting close. Once you've gone there, you've done 80% of it.
Yeah.
85% of it. I mean, just of that hill.
So interestingly, we could have taken a right, I think, at that little fence and made it up over here.
Yeah, I think we could have gone around the hill we just did.
Yeah. So I feel like, unless you want to stick to this.
Well, I mean, this time it's too late.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, like, if we want to, again, set ourselves up for success.
It's either, I wonder if the one we just did was more direct.
I think it's more of a straight line, but then we have this dip, this valley, so we have to basically repeat,
Yeah.
a third of the.
It does mean it's a little bit of a trade-off in terms of distance, but I'm sure going around it would be a much easier.
Yeah. And then
overall.
it's.
Not that I mind it. I mean, I like the challenge of getting the heart rate up and then having a place to relax in the middle. It's kind of like, when you do a treadmill and you put it on some kind of hiking
Course,
mode, and then
yeah.
it makes it really steep for a while, and then makes it level, and then it makes it steep again. That's kind of what we're doing.
Well,
right?
yeah, but they're just trying to replicate this experience.
Yeah. But the treadmill cannot possibly replicate the authentic walk. It's just impossible.
It's true. I mean, it's just too bouncy. Partially, that's one of the reasons I don't like them. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
It is a good morning.
Well, also that it pulls your foot back for you.
Yes. Yep. So I started listening to William Gibson's The Peripheral last night.
Okay.
It's basically it's this series of sci-fi novels that he's doing that he's kind of getting back to a little bit of his kind of cyberpunk roots. But I think the third book is coming out or just came out. It's about this future world where this event called the jackpot has happened, and the jackpot has killed most of humanity, and the only people that are surviving are a few elites in the big cities, and they have a technology where they can go back into different timelines to, I guess, make money or resources or whatever. They're out there harvesting the past.
Yeah, harvesting the timeline.
Where
can we still extract some more resources?
Yep.
Is there a whole thing about how if they harvested in the past, then it could make the future less harvestable because of some kind of ripple effect?
No, so they're in different timelines than their own.
Oh, okay.
So in essence, though,
they don't have to deal with the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, and also in essence, they're fucking destroying the resources of those timelines.
Yeah,
you know?
Why stop at this Earth, right?
Yeah.
Let the nightmare spread to all timelines.
Yeah.
In all places. Consume, consume, consume.
And it's an idea that he's been playing around with for years. I think the first example of it was Mozart and Mirror Shades, which was about this technology. It's a short story about this technology where people were going to these past timelines and bringing almost like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I feel like Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure was ripping off Mozart and Mirror Shades. And
it was already supposed to be a goof on time travel, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
how's it going? But the first main character, it takes place in a kind of a timeline like ours. It's like closer to our present. And it actually, the way he starts it, and this was written in 2014, is, have you read Ready Player One?
Nope.
No, I didn't
I'm familiar
read it.
with the general premise, but I didn't watch it. And I saw the trailer for the movie, and I was told, it's got everything in it, all your nostalgia. I was like, I don't care. I just don't care.
You know, I did like the movie, you know, and my defense of it is only Steven Spielberg would have had the economic power to make a movie like that because of all the licensing.
Oh, no, it just sounded kind of like Wreck-It Ralph for adults.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty cheesy story, but then I wanted to at least, because people said the novel was pretty good, and I listened to it and I liked it. And there were some things in the novel that are far superior to. How's it going?
See, Sean, this is to which we aspire.
Well, I was shaking my head no because I was like, I don't even know if I could ever do that.
I'd like to be able to do that. Just fucking jog up this bitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I'll start with the walking.
Yeah. But swing. Oh, so it opens with this guy who is a former soldier, and the similarities are, he lives in a trailer park, and he's basically cybersecurity. He goes and puts on a headset, and he's a security guard in cyberspace. Like physically.
He's a mod.
Yeah. physically goes in and like moves around in there as a guard. But he's on disability because he was a haptic soldier for the Army, for the Marines. And when they removed his haptics, it gave him brain damage. But basically, he was just a soldier that they put all this stuff in, and then they controlled him like a video game, you know? They made his body do things that he didn't want it to do.
Okay.
And it's such a... When I was thinking about kind of the way haptics are envisioned in Ready Player One, is they put you in like a, kind of a 360-degree treadmill, and then they put a suit on you that makes you to feel things, and then you go into cyberspace. Man, but I was just thinking, like, we've had this conversation before. It's like, what would it take to make a simulation good enough I think we got to that bush.
I think
right there.
I think we got farther than that.
You sure?
No, but I think we did. Let's find out.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I think we did.
I think we got to the undercut of that bush.
Well, let's take a rest in this bush shade.
Yep.
I think it's part of the pacing.
Yeah, for sure.
You rest a bit before you get at your brink.
Yeah.
Even just a short one is so much good.
Try again? You want to try again with the water, bud? Oh, hello. Oh, my goodness. You'd rather drink the water out of my mouth.
Probably.
Huh? Maybe. Let's see. I think it's going to be a good book. But the second one, I think I mentioned this before. He was setting up a world where a crazy despot became president, and then kind of how the jackpot was using that energy to exploit more resources out of our reality.
That would never happen, Sean.
And then
we live in a democracy, Sean.
Before he published it, he had to... No? Come on. What if I pour a little on your head? A little on your back. To cool you down. Do you want some? No?
There you go.
Look at that. Good boy. But before he published it, he changed the president to Hillary Clinton. Because just as it was being published, Trump was looking like he was winning the election.
So he was trying to create an alternate history in which Hillary Clinton was president?
So that it wouldn't hew so close to, the reality people were experiencing. And then now the third one is coming out, and he had to change a lot of it because he was like, I predicted a pandemic, and I predicted he was writing about a lot of the things that we're experiencing right now just before they happened. And so now he's he had to fix those sections so that...
So it's like instead of Simpsons did it, it's like, well, reality did it.
Yeah, reality did it. And, when you're a sci-fi writer, you're putting yourself in that, space about, well, what if this and what if that? And,
Yeah, if it happens, and then it's... Yeah, if there's too many similarities to how you describe it, but if it plays out differently, then it's like, it doesn't quite...
Yeah. And he didn't want to, and he also didn't, he wants to sell his books, you know what I mean? He doesn't want to, people to be upset about reading about a pandemic when they're in a pandemic.
Well, at what point do things become so dystopic that the stories become hopeful again? Because it's almost such a departure from our current reality that it's like, well, I can't write sci-fi dystopia anymore. Things are so terrible. So I guess I'll just make, Star Trek: The Next Generation or something.
Yeah. Well, I think, there's so much out there, I think it's possible for somebody to write, even if you're writing a pandemic and you write a hopeful way out, I did read a pretty heartbreaking, it's called After the Flood, and it was basically...
That's like was that a Louis the 14th or Louis the 13th thing? After me the deluge?
Oh yeah, maybe that's a reference to that. But it's about this woman who recounts, she's on a boat looking for her daughter, recounting how the first 7-year flood really fucked up the world. But now, 10 years after that, they're in a 100-year flood. And
I feel like that's what's going on with our...
Yeah.
We got this double hurricane system going towards Louisiana right now.
Yeah.
In the Gulf. It's like... And then we got these fires in California. I mean, that's the risk of global warming, right?
Yeah.
We're just kind of hit by one thing and then another and then another. And then before you know it, the things that bind our society together just collapse. And it doesn't function anymore. And we're going, oh, we were just waiting for that return to normalcy. Well, it didn't fucking happen because another disaster came in the meantime. And you can never find your balance again.
Yep. Just so that Jeff Bezos can build another house.
He only needs one more house and then he'll be happy. We just need to placate the Bezos. We just need to feed the Bezor until it is satisfied.
That was a good morning. How you doing?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Come on ahead.
Yeah, I'm coming, bud. I mean, how can it be stopped? Just this mindset, this psychopathic positioning of these people.
I don't know. I mean, to me, the only way it can be stopped is if they somehow learn some way to be satisfied. I mean, it's true enough of all of us, but unless they're satisfied and don't crave more, then they will continue to consume more because they can, right?
Yeah.
So they either have to be satisfied with what they have or actually start desiring to have less as we feel encumbered by our increased possessions. Or there needs to be government restrictions.
Yeah.
I mean, they either have to come to the conclusion themselves or through some kind of teaching, right? But in any case, accepted from the inside, right? Or there needs to be some kind of social pressure, meaning not legal, but just like shame or ostracization, right?
Sure.
Or, I mean, I guess there could be theft. You just take it from them
Sure.
and distribute it, like in a Robin Hood kind of way, or in a mob way.
Well, they're
depending on how you
gonna
wanna
claim
look at it.
any
right.
anytime they're not making the maximum amount that they can make, they're gonna claim it's theft.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Or you could have some kind of government restriction, a legal restriction, let's just say, even if it's not. Now, I understand that the lines between a legal and a social are kind of blurry, but nevertheless, I'll make the distinction. I mean, those seem to me the only avenue, or they die.
Well, so I was going to say death penalty. What about, because if we were in a, egalitarian tribal situation, we would smash their skulls with a rock.
Right, well, that's why I'm saying that's a solution that's somewhere between a social and a legal thing,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was there.
Yeah, that's not a new or novel solution, but then again, none of the ones that I've outlined now are. They're just options. I mean, me being the softy that I am, maybe I'm soft because of almighty op, soft, before
Well, you're
you
soft.
poo-poo it. I'd
soft
really
before
rather,
that.
I'd rather try to rehabilitate them, right? I mean, if you look at Bezos as a criminal and as a destroyer and as a supervillain, just like I wish our jails and prisons weren't jails and prisons and were instead rehabilitation.
We will re-educate you into the ways of the climate.
I would prefer that for anyone, but I don't know how possible that is. Certainly not possible for all people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, it's always less about. I have no desire to punish Bezos. I just want him to stop doing what he's doing.
Sure.
I mean, that to me is ultimately what's important.
I guess the way I look at it is, I definitely don't believe in punitive measures. But if a mountain lion is attacking your children, which the way he's behaving like an animal attacking humanity, because I think he can out Bezos, you know what I mean? He could outthink whatever rationale and hire attorneys and accountants and fucking consultants
Right.
to say the right words to continue to do what he does.
Well, and just to bribe the right people.
Yeah.
And also to threaten the economic system.
Yeah.
That's another reason why we need to be funding things like the post office, because otherwise we're just putting our collective nuts in the hands of the likes of Jeff Bezos, who then can
crazy people.
Tell us, oh, well, I'm going to stop delivering the mail unless I get what I want.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what's happening right now. Trump's like, I'm going to stop delivering the mail unless you elect me.
Well, I guess I just view it the same way as, if we outsource the production of our medical supplies to China, then suddenly they have leverage over us, right?
Yeah.
So my only point being that, corporations, multinational corporations especially, I mean, they're not really American. They're their own country.
Yeah.
With their own wealth and their own land and their own government, their own dictatorship, that if we destroy the postal service, then we're dependent on, a foreign country. We're dependent on Amazon to make our post go, to make our deliveries go. And I would just rather have something really fundamental like that be a collective enterprise than be dependent on the benevolence of some private
citizen
or just some local despot. It becomes like a Mad Max thing. We're oil town. We're gun town. We're water town.
I mean, that was his
we
whole
control
point.
the mail. So, if we let that be the case, then he's got us over the barrel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they already do, but this elimination, this systematic elimination of all the public goods, it puts us just ever more at the mercy of these tyrants. So we definitely got at least to this upcoming fence, because I have a picture of you sitting on it.
Yeah. I think that was basically right at the end.
Yeah, this might be that corner. Listening to I think it was American Samoa casting its votes for President Trump in the Republican convention. And they referred to Trump as, I think they said, did they just say straight up amazing? Or amazing and whatever, some other adjective. But it just sounded like exalted dear leader, just add all the adjectives on top to prove your loyalty, your fealty, to show you're sufficiently excited about the president. Arizona's delegation was talking about home to the Grand Canyon and miles of beautiful wall. Here's our gentle reminder.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll have a sip of water. You want some water, bud? Uh-huh. Yep, he licked his lips. I'm going to take that as a yes.
That was something the coaches taught me. They said, if you're thirsty, it's already too late.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's not what they said. They said, if you're thirsty, then you're already dehydrated.
Yep.
I feel great. All that water I drank this morning, I'm just sweating through the shirt.
Can I pour it on you? Pour you on you?
Now, I get the sense that maybe you don't like the feeling of sweat all on your body, but...
Oh, I don't mind.
I'm feeling like I have a clean sweat going now.
Mm-hmm.
I drank a lot of water, now it's coming out of me.
Oh, yeah.
The engine is running, it's well lubricated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love sweating. I just don't like sweating in cotton. Cotton sweating. Let's get that water in your fur, Barney. It was actually when I initially sat down here, this piece of wood was actually cool. I was like, okay. Now my butt has absorbed all the coolness. All the coolness.
Frosty tush. Speaking of that, so Superman has ice breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got eye lasers. You'd think that his farts would have some kind of power.
Well, his shit is lava. So he could, if he shits, it'll like burn through layers of metal. The only time he can actually shit is when he goes into the Fortress of Solitude.
I have a feeling that you're making this up.
No, I think it's canon. Okay.
Why would they ever put that in canon? Why would they ever put that in canon, Sean? Where in canon did you see this?
I feel like
I'm going to hold your shit to the fire here.
I think it was when they did the Russian version.
Oh, at Red Sun?
Yeah, wasn't that?
I read that one. I don't remember ever reading that.
Was it in the, not the 500th, the 5,000th
If it's there, it's there. But I have a feeling.
Well, you know what?
It just sounds like something like a third grader would come up with.
Well, you know what though? I feel like
maybe Superman already is something a third grader would come up with.
What? Yeah. What I feel like it was, the thing that I'm picturing, was probably a Mad Magazine cartoon.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah. But I could picture, whatever, Superman taking a shit in a cartoon, in a comic.
Well, I can tell you this. If it were in a comic, it would not be illustrated. And if it were illustrated, I'd already know about it. In all the comic searching, of all the reading about Superman, and all the Wikipedia that I've ever read, of all the lists of his powers I've ever read, not once have I seen that he shits lava.
Are you a Superman fan?
No, but occasionally I sort of like researching the powers of the gods of old. I might just browse through some superheroes and their history, the modern gods. You know, I actually I collected and read comics like in high school for a good 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, as we know, because we made our business cards from your comic book backing yesterday.
Oh yeah, I mean, I occasionally still buy some. You know, maybe once a year I'll pick up a few issues of this or that. But but back then, yeah, I was reading all kinds of comics. I was reading there was one point where I was just reading just way too fucking money, spending way too much money on those. But all the stuff, DC, Marvel. Bunch of everything.
Yeah, I was mostly Marvel.
Eventually I realized that a lot of it just wasn't that good.
It's not that good, and it's like they repeat a lot of storylines.
Yeah.
It's just soap opera for fucking young boys.
And also the art was, the art quality varied.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always something interesting to find, but it's just, here's this like $3 object. Now they're probably even more, and I'd read it in however many minutes, and I'd get through it real quick. Yep. I'd be like, "Oh, was that really
$1.75 worth of entertainment?"
Well, like I said, I'm going to say $3.
Yeah.
I liked the ones with more dialogue because they tended to have more
story.
Although the dialogue could be insipid, but at least it took longer to get through it. But I think
that's that fucking Burbank police officer training area over there. Those are actual gunshots. Welcome to Burbank.
They're practicing.
We keep it tight here. Our golf course, the place where we practice murdering people, and our hikes are all in one area.
Man, how much would this hike suck if there were just like rows of cops getting in shape, hiking up the hill all the time?
Oh, I bet you it was at one point. I bet you that was what this was.
Yeah,
was a way for them, but now they don't. No cop's going to come out here.
Well, look, we're above the 2 peaks. We're on the last leg.
Yeah. This is going to be a little bit of an extended break for me.
Yeah, sure.
I had
fence sitting for you.
Huh?
More fence sitting for you.
Yes. When I was at my meditation retreat, I came up with a whole new superhero group.
Okay.
And the main character, what everybody was built around, was the Fontanelle, which was a superhero who was a baby who would never age, and when you squeeze him, he shoots a laser out of his fontanelle.
So it's a superhero. It sounds more like an object.
Yeah,
but doesn't have really any agency, does he?
Oh, he does. He's got adult intelligence, but trapped in a baby body.
Motor control?
Not a little bit. Like he's been able to kind of like push the limit of his baby body. But he's revenging the death of his parents, who were killed by. God, the enemy group was a whole bunch of just like racist stereotypes. God, I wish I could remember. One of them was Mandingo, who just had a giant penis to like attack the superheroes with. I can't remember. But it was. That's how I entertained myself at the meditation. I would just go into the meditation and start thinking about. I've got the notes on it somewhere. Start thinking about this ridiculous superhero group.
Well, there was think it was an Adult Swim show. What was it called? It was like this superhero troupe that were all racist stereotypes.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called.
But yes, I've seen clips of it. Oh, Barney, stop. Sorry about that. Guess that means it's time to move. And part of the reason I came up with it was as I was meditating, you're doing this body scan from the top of your head to your feet or whatever, your butt. And I kept on picturing a laser coming out of the very top of my head. I was like, oh, that's probably where the fontanelle was when I was a baby. And then, then what would it be like to have a baby superhero that had a laser coming out of his head?
I had a superhero idea. Might make a good anime. I'm sorry, it does not include racist tropes explicitly. But you'll hopefully find it entertaining of a prospect anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're the bad guys.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
What's that?
It's okay that they're racist because they're bad guys?
Yeah, well, they're evil.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, the people that are the evil ones in our culture right now are racist.
Well, yes.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if you start seeing racism as a trait that evil people have, that villains have, then you can be more easy to point it out. When somebody is simply a racist, you can start aligning.
No, I was talking about your Mandingo character.
Yeah.
Who's a bad guy, but is an imagination of a black man from a racist perspective, right?
Yes. But, if you searched Mandingo...
doesn't that seem like it just... How is that presentation different from a racist who makes a comic in which the bad guy is a black guy and is a stereotype?
So, if you go on Pornhub and you search the term Mandingo, there is both a porn star who's named himself Mandingo and just a type of porn that uses that name. Now, if he takes ownership of the idea and says, whatever, I'm going to make money at this, he's still putting himself in the space of being a racial stereotype for capital, reasons. It is about owning it, but he's still the character of Mandingo in my comic is still perpetuating that racial stereotype. And that's what makes him a bad guy.
I don't think that really got... I would say he's self-adopted to perpetuate this stereotype, which is why he's a bad guy?
No, so he has a superpower. He is different from the rest of the world. And, I don't know, he wants to rob banks or whatever, using his superpower. And so he's adopted this identity to scare people or to brand himself. But yes, you're saying, oh, you came up with that idea, but I kind of didn't. I think
Well, no, my question is, how is you creating it different from a white supremacist who makes a propaganda comic who has a character of the same description?
Because I'm explicitly saying it's a commentary on the porn industry perpetuating a racist stereotype. I'm positing a position about it.
So when you said if you go onto Pornhub, you'll find this guy, that was you giving me his backstory in your comic? I thought you were talking about an actual guy on Pornhub.
Oh, there's an actual guy on Pornhub. His, whatever performer name is Mandingo.
Well, I guess to me, it ultimately depends on what kind of story you're telling. You know? Because obviously, those kinds of things can be used in a satirical way to make a commentary against the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, when you have your main superhero is a fucking man-child that shoots lasers out of his baby hole, it's all satire. It's all comedy.
I thought a fontanelle was on your head.
Yeah, it's a baby hole. It's a hole that only babies have.
Oh, well, it's covered by skin, right?
Yeah, but it's still the most porous part of a baby. Oh. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, it's hot.
Fun hike, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So, let me pitch you my superhero.
Oh, yeah.
My tormented creature person. Basically, this person, and wow, you can see a lot of me in this person.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of my pathologies in this person, in this character.
You want some water?
So the character has the power to do anything that this character sets his mind to.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi. So anything that he sets his mind to will, if like a decision is made within the space of his power, if he decides to do something, then it will be accomplished.
Okay.
However, the way in which that thing will be accomplished and the cost that will have on himself or the people around him or the world or the universe is unknown. So it's a very dangerous power to use.
If you press this button, you'll get $1 million, but somewhere, someone will die.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. But the link isn't as explicit because you don't know what it's going to be.
Oh, yeah. But that's also like you're expanding whatever that possibility of that philosophical, you're expanding it to be like, I can solve these mega global problems, but maybe I'm creating more.
Yeah, like if the character, for example, sets his mind to doing something that would require defying the laws of physics, then that might end up creating some kind of rupture in space-time as we know it.
Yeah.
Might sort of end up having these problems in the universe.
Well, that
sets it to destroy itself, So.
Yeah, can I extrapolate on that idea right there?
Yeah, sure.
So
I think there's a lot of places that idea can go.
Yeah, what if like something like, somebody's falling, and rather than there's like 10 different ways you can approach this, which is like somebody's falling and he's like, I'm going to stop that person from falling. So it's almost like you can open up this quantum field at that moment, right? So it's like, oh, maybe I'm I can run super fast and just catch them as they fall. Maybe I have the gift of flight and I can catch them. Or maybe I create a gravitational field and they drop softly to the ground. Or maybe I create some kind of mucus out of my body and they fall into the mucus
Or maybe
body.
I slow down time so they fall softly somehow around them. Yeah, there's any number of ways
so
that it could be done.
Each one of those things, when the physics of that moment is changed, become the reality after that. So if he can fly, everyone can fly, or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, so in that moment, he changes the quantum reality. He chooses the quantum path. But in choosing,
well, I'm not sure he necessarily chooses. I think that's going to be the hinge of the thing. Like, that I think part of this character trying to wrestle with their power and mitigate the negative consequences is including an element of choice in how they go about accomplishing the thing. Like, it starts off just, I choose to do it, and then it's totally outside of my control. I don't know how it's going to happen. And then it starts to be like, I'm going to choose to do it, but try to influence the direction and the way in which that happens. It becomes his sort of struggle.
Yeah, but what my point is, I say these quantum realities, but what my point is that the physics of the universe at that moment for everybody changes. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that may be one possible outcome.
That would be then he's not able to see how everybody flying is going to change the world, but he decides to fly to stop this person, and then as he lands, he sees that everybody's able to fly, and it turns out there's a bunch of fucking flying supervillains now that he has to stop or something. You know what
I mean, it could happen that he's the only one who can fly, or it could happen that the person who he wants to save becomes the only person who can fly. Or it could be everyone can fly. There's a lot of different ways
but I'm just saying, like, that like taking that path, then it's like, you know, he becomes like he could at least predict
whatever
a little.
the story necessitates, because that option is one way to go, but they're all, I'm not prepared to say at this time whether that would be preferable to any of the other ways. It all depends on what kind of story you want to tell, right? So I wouldn't want to make it so like he always gave the powers to everyone, right? Sometimes it would just be to one person or to himself. Like it all depends on what the narrative you're trying to tell is, you know?
Well, it's like Legion, right? Did you watch Legion?
No.
Yeah. It's like he does a thing and it shapes reality, and then he gets poured into that new reality, and that's where he has to live. And because he's depressed and he's got this demon living inside of him and he's running from this demon, basically he's destroying more and more of reality as he's exerting his power until he destroys the whole universe.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
Spoiler
so something kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it could also lend itself to some comedy where it's like, I'm going to choose to open this door that's right in front of me, but then the way that door gets opened isn't just him opening the door. It ends up being this like crazy global affair to open the door.
There's a human there. Hello.
So even the most basic of tasks can become these like monumental, really sort of Rube Goldbergian undertakings to accomplish.
Says the woman that started at the same time as us, or she got to the parking lot at the same time as us. Oi! Yeah, that's. I mean, you know, it's also that thing like sounds like it'd be a fun book or fun comic book, but I think it would require a lot of like. It wouldn't be one of those ones that you could kind of write on the fly, or maybe could, you know. It feels like that's one of those things where if you can begin with the end in mind, you could shape to that moment. Like, what is the lesson you're trying to teach?
Well, if you take it to its crazy extreme, I feel like you'd end up at some kind of paradoxical moment where, you know, to save the universe, you must destroy the universe kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear this noise so that you can know what real gunfire sounds like.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Because
it's going on a tear.
I'm just training today. It's a training day.
Hey, look, we're at hawk level.
Yep. Because I've had people say to me, "Oh my God, that was a gunshot." I'm like, no, that is not a gunshot.
I have to admit, I felt a little uncomfortable just with the synchronization of you talking about the Mandingo character along with all these gunshots going off in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know if, what's his name? The guy that got shot in the back like 7 times last night?
Jacob, I want to say Harris, but that's not.
Wonder if he's going to make it or not. Maybe that news is already out.
Yeah. It's, the footage is disturbing.
God. He opens the car door. He's just walking.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
No.
I mean, it's just a murder at that point.
Yeah.
Because, 7 shots? Why? I guess, if you're going to start the job, you might as well fucking finish it? I mean, what?
You hear what's going on down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They're like, they're literally trained killing machines.
Well, when you have a gun, when your only tool is a gun, then everything looks like a target, right?
Yeah. That, yes. And it's like, I don't want my fucking tax money being used to fucking train psychopaths. That is not right.
Defund the police. Defund the military industrial complex. Defund the military. Death machines. My ears are starting to pop. We're getting up there.
Blop, blop. Defund the police. Blop, blop. Abolish the police. Yeah, what I was talking about on the way here, like, Burbank PD, they're not bad fellows. And then we get to the training zone and they're just like blap, 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 blap.
They're just relieving stress, Sean.
Yeah, by shooting people. Targets. But realistically, I told you I was a volunteer sheriff, that the equipment they have to wear is super irritating. And, you go out on the street and those, what did you call the fucking police car?
The smell. It's good.
Battering ram. No, what did I call it? Siege machine.
Yeah, something like that.
And they're siege machines. They're militarized, and it's like, so you have a military force.
I think probably siege engine.
Engine, yeah. This occupying force inside of your city.
Yep.
The little merchants at their merchant stands. Oh, hello, officer. Is it time for me to give you my bribe? Oh, you can have all the free food you want, officer. Yeah, that was when the BLM stuff was coming out, and cops were complaining that they weren't getting free food anymore.
Not getting free McDonald's, and I used to get people saying thank you for my service, and they didn't even say thank you when they gave me the coffee. Yeah.
Well, and I think that people were doing those things, multiple motivations, but basically a little bit of a kiss up, officer. You're going to make sure you come to this McDonald's first when we have trouble, right, sir? And also, I think a little bit out of fear.
There's no way to not have that be a bribe.
Yeah.
Ultimately, even if you think it's coming from your heart of like, I just want to support these officers, they protect my community, it's still a fucking bribe.
Yeah, it's still a bribe. Yeah. Because you're encouraging them, you're laying little Scooby snacks so that they show up at your door pretty often.
Or just that they're in a good mood. You want to keep them in a good mood so they don't fuck
I'm
up
also
your
saying,
shit,
like,
right?
if they know they can get free coffee at your place, they're going to be at your place more often.
Right.
It's
so
just
their
a
radius of, quote, protection is stronger, right?
Yeah, they're going to go, there's a little rat treat at this one. There's a little rat treat at this one. There's a little rat treat at this one.
But I also feel like it's placating, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Keep them in a good mood so they don't start fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Keep them fat and happy.
Yeah.
Ooh, these nuts.
Would you like an almond?
How am I going to say no to a little bit of a trail nosh, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm finding this bag has a lot of little nice variety in it.
Well, once you have even that small amount of space,
Yeah.
you can find uses for it.
Yeah.
What kind? I like your setup here.
Yeah, this is some kind of like fucking travel bag. I'm going to say for a girl, but I guess you could use it for like your toothbrush and your, you know.
I don't know. To me, it just looks like a standard American pouch.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like you throw it in your suitcase and it's got your shaving kit in it or whatever. But it was small enough that I was like, oh, it'll hold about 1 quart of water plus a cup plus a spork plus a knife.
Plus some almonds.
Plus some almonds. And then I got the leash as my lanyard. So I'm just trying to be as minimal. I want to ask this question. I don't know if there's a scientific equation for this, but how much water? What is the calorie burn per, let's say, quart of water? Right. So if I'm carrying 10 quarts of water, I'm only carrying 1 today, but these extra calories that I'm having to burn to carry the water, am I going to suck up that capacity of water? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's always better to have water, but at what point is it going to be too much water?
I'm sure there is some kind of equation for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that if you're carrying more water than you could possibly drink, then that starts to become a problem, right?
Yep.
Then it's just useless at that point.
Well, that's why there's things like Life Straw.
Although you could be carrying extra water to help other people out.
Yeah, it's true. Hello. How you guys doing? I'm just going to stop in every piece of shade for now. Take it as easy as possible. Yeah, but I am sweating a lot, which is good. And Barney seems to be doing okay. He's not as... like he sometimes, I don't remember if last time he was doing this, but he'll get like this. His head will be like all hangy. Like he's so exhausted he can't even keep his head up. And he always reminds me of an animatronic dog from what's that ride in Disneyland? In the Haunted Mansion. The dog's no, that one's holding the lantern. In Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
they have a dog that's doing this kind of weird.
With the key?
Yeah.
Those pirates trapped in the prison always forever.
Yeah.
Talk about creatures in forever torment.
Yeah.
They can never get out of that prison cell. They're trying to get that dog to give him the keys. They're tempting it with food, chicken legs, and they're just trying. But no, the dog never gives in. What a horrible dog.
Yeah, he's a fucking cop dog. That fucking dog is a fucking motherfucking pig.
Pig dogs.
A pig dog. He's just part of the fucking capitalist oppression system.
They just want to be free at sea. Yeah. Free pirates.
Yeah, and really they're just trying to fucking live off the excess of the fucking empire, you know? They're just trying to fucking, oh, you got this ship full of gold? You don't need all that gold. You know? But you know about they changed the dynamic. There was a guy that was chasing a woman around.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, it was a woman chasing a guy around.
No, well, there was always one of those, I think, as a gag. But yeah, it was the men chasing women, and then it became men chasing women with food.
Yeah.
Meaning the women were holding like a plate of turkey.
Like there was a cake.
And what's that supposed to imply? That the women are serving the food, that they're cooking the food? I mean, isn't that just adding more and more?
And they won't give it to them. They won't just be generous and just be like, oh, here, have some turkey.
That was long ago. That was long before the current wave of political correctization.
I mean, I'm sure that because they're having to deal with children going, Mommy, why is that man chasing that woman?
Oh, because there's a turkey.
Because he wants to fucking lay down with her, and she's resisting. But maybe she's just, teasing.
Well, it's hard to get inside the head of an animatronic.
Well, I'd also say hard to get inside the head of the animatronic, but also it's like whatever the designers, whatever cliched idea of piracy the designers wanted to put out there. And I think a lot of the shitty ideas that we have of pirates come from the fucking governments that were being pirated, made them seem like real scumbags.
Well, it also just comes from, if I'm not mistaken, Treasure Island.
Oh, sure, yeah. But Treasure Island was a fucking... a statist. He was trying to appeal to the prurient natures of the Londoners at the time. Oh, pirates! They're terrible. They're destroying our economy.
No, but wasn't. But I mean, it's been a long time since I've read that book. But, it was still a tale of noble pirates.
Yeah,
right?
excitement on the high seas, and then we'd come in contact with other pirates that were bad guys.
Yeah, the bad pirates.
No, but I even think that the idea that pirates would rape and pillage was not a real thing. Just like, I mean, I don't think Caligula was as bad as people made out, but when he died, they stated that his wife had sex with the whole Senate and he fucked his horse or whatever. They basically maligned his memory after he died. We don't know how good or bad he is because the history was so it was so written by the people that hated him.
Yeah. I don't know. It does make me curious to check, the veracity of which sources some of these things came from. But yeah, it's hard to know. It's really hard to know exactly what. But
turns out
as far as the pirates go, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. Rape, loot, and pillage seems to be a pretty common.
But that's
human behavior. I'm sure some pirates did it too.
Sure, but that seems like a war tactic, and these guys were kind of like mercenary bandits, typically, right? Because that CPG, kind of like their job was to basically get the other ship to fucking surrender.
Yeah, without a fight.
Without a fight.
And then when they go into port, they're there to spend their coin.
And I've heard that many boats were these kind of democracies, and that they would take on a lot of marginalized, outcast kind of people.
Yeah.
And that they were probably pretty gay. It was probably a place where men that were not interested in marrying women could go and all be on a boat together,
It's the theater!
It is. It's the theater on the seas. So it's like, I think that there were people that were not concerned with status quo living. And so, a boat full of, degenerates are going to be, accused of much worse. I mean, just think of all the things that the white supremacists would have us think of minorities.
Yeah.
Whew.
But if you want to find the murderers and the looters, you need look no further than our police forces.
Yeah.
civil asset forfeiture, Sean.
Yep. Qualified immunity. Legal murder, legal theft. And legal rape. They're legally able to rape a woman or whoever. They are the specially deputized.
Oh yeah, there was a case of
sainted.
that, I forget where it was, which state it was, where a cop raped a woman and then she tried to get him on it, and there was just some kind of it was consenting in the moment, or I remember what it was, but it was, because of his position of power, he was able to spin a very, very, very thin yarn about how it wasn't rape when obviously it was.
Yeah, well, in 37 states, it is legal for an officer to have sex with somebody they've arrested.
Yeah, I mean, that's so preposterous. That's
America,
madness.
baby. What else are they allowed to get away with? They can
do you think if in those states, if a female officer arrested a man and raped the man, that she would get away with it, or would they bring down the hammer on her and be like, "Oh no, that power's not for you, ma'am"?
Well, depend on who she raped. If she raped another woman, they'd probably be into it. But if she raped a man, then they'd be like, "No, no, a woman can't have what she wants."
Woman can't be in control.
A woman can't be in control.
I am against rape in all cases. Bold statement, I know.
I mean, consent. And even when you think that there might be some implied consent, just ask anyways. Because if there's some implied consent, they'll be happy to just say yes if it's already implied.
I have to look it up again, but I think the word for an electrical outlet in Japanese is consento.
Okay.
And then, of course, when you're talking about plugging things in, you're like male and female ends.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a really weird kind of...
So, but it is actually the word for consent in Japanese?
No, I don't think it's the word for consent. It just happens to be the word for an electrical outlet, if I'm not mistaken. I could be misremembering.
Well, I wonder... See, here's
but
an
again,
interesting...
that might not come from English. It could come from another language.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds Italian. But it's interesting, like... So, electricity was a 19th century invention, right? So,
We've conquered the last false peak.
The technology of electricity, let's say we got Edison and we got, I forget who the European guy was, but it basically kind of all kind of cropped up all around the same time. It makes me wonder if a Japanese engineer was sent to Italy, right? And then the Italian engineer that's talking to him or talking to his translator or whoever is like, "Oh, it's male, like a penis. This is a male." And so they do the male plug. No, I'm just saying. And then the female, it's like a female. Yeah, it's like, And then he's like, this outlet. He's like, "Oh, you don't have to ask to put it in there? No consento? No, you don't need it." I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I just love the idea of this history of, like, how do these things happen, right? Because male and female is universal, right? It's just, when you say it's a male plug, you know what it means. When it says it's a female plug, you know what it means. It's like we don't have to think about it. But is it sexist to call it a male plug and a female plug?
I'm pretty sure that's not the origin of the term.
Consento? Consento. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, why does it sound like consent?
I'm sure...
That's why I'm asking that question. I'm not making any assumptions. I'm saying I'm imagining the fact that it has that same sound. There is some kind of linguistic meaning in how the engineering of all these ideas got played out, right? Because if the male and female are still the word for male and female in Japanese, are you looking it up?
Trying to, but the connection's not so good. So, I mean, I think I looked that up, and I don't think that's.
There's no linguistic.
I think it's just one of those linguistic a false cognate, as they say.
Yeah. But
I think is it false cognate? Is that the word?
I think it's something like that. They used to call them false friends too. And
there's there's one like casa means umbrella in Japanese. It means house in Spanish. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh well, an umbrella is kind of like your house, that your portable shelter. And it's like there was no.
Yeah, they're false friends. But then you look at something like the Italian word for computer is computer. You know, it's like they didn't even try to make their own word for it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean that happens all the time. There was for a while, I know the Japanese government wanted to like take all these foreign words and created or it had kanji. Those are like the more complicated Chinese characters, non-phonetic, and sort of created kanji for these foreign words, and then eventually got too cumbersome, and then they just were like, nah, fuck it, we'll use katakana, which is their phonetic alphabet that looks different from, it's sort of like almost, can use it for punctuation, like italics. Or sound effects. But they also use it for words of foreign origin. But there's still a handful of words that are still in use today that are foreign words, but have like Japanese kanji for how they're written, because they were just in that narrow area where they were attempting to do that.
Well, it's I've had this discussion with you before, but I think the language that you kind of learn to speak in, the first one is going to kind of determine how you think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to a point on that, as has been expressed many times. And I'm going to have this lingering, I never should have even tried to look it up. I've got a lingering thing in my head now. Like, I need to know. I'll figure it out later. I'm more worried now that I got the name of the word completely wrong.
Oh, well.
And that I'm totally off base. That's the thing I'm most concerned about.
Well, if we had anybody listening to us, they could correct you at mindwalkpod@gmail.com.
Home stretch. Looks like we're above the smog layer, huh?
Yep. And it's actually...
I feel like the air got a little clearer.
A little cooler,
up here.
yeah. Because I think when we're in the smog layer, it keeps the convected heat inside of it.
It's like all of a sudden, it's cooler. Cooler, fresher, crisper, longer, stronger, better.
Crisper, are you going to do some genetic surgery on me?
No, just going to eat some potato chips.
Oh, that kind of crisper. Thanks for joining us. This has been a pretty amazing mind walk. If you want to go on your own mind walk, that would be awesome.
Subscribe to the Mind Walk podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow us on social media at MindWalkPod, and support us on Patreon.
Yeah, come and be on our Mind Walk Pod Patreon page, and you get all of it for $10 a month.
Or just $5 a month if you want 3 episodes, or
$1.99 and you get nothing.